we need a universal club. I mean, it almost seems like it shouldn't be, I hate to say.
It needs to not be a CFA
needs
thing.
to be a part of it, but maybe we need
Be a bigger
something
entity.
more encompassing to,
Right.
Burmese breeds of the world unite. Yeah, so,
Well, we've had a
They call it
Burmese list,
UBCF,
which
don't
has been pretty dysfunctional there for a while.
And it's dead
And
now.
it's basically dead.
We have
That
UBCF.
encompasses other registries. The
right.
NAB list at the moment is restricted. NAB members, the breed council list is restricted to breed council members.
Right.
There's a Facebook Burmese breed group, and it's international. And I've been on it, and there's been interesting discussions. But my kids are.
Right, there is a complication within CFA in the sense that we are the only organization where Burmese are not just Burmese. We have European Burmese and we have American Burmese. So we would love to get the European Burmese people in other registries at least to start cooperating with us. So far, I feel like I've hit a bit of a brick wall in trying to engage the European Burmese within CFA. And I think there's been a lot of bad water under the bridge between the two groups, and I'm hoping that we can heal that.
Maybe this will be the unite.
Will finding the gene for the head defect help with that, bridging that gap between us
I
and the
think we have
US?
an individual here who's fairly,
Dwayne?
almost in the European position. We'd love to hear your,
It's more than just.
We talked in the Czech Republic,
Yeah, yeah.
WCC. I don't know, it hasn't been broached by the, I'm not the British Council Secretary, so,
that you've been involved for a very long time.
yes, since the beginning of.
And is the bad blood because the American Burmese people didn't want the European
Yes.
Burmese people?
Yes.
We
It
had
has
a-
nothing to do with the head defect,
No.
it was because we
Because the
tried to
head,
block.
the head defect is non-existent in
In the
the
European.
European Burmese.
Yeah,
That is not,
none
never
of it.
been found.
Yes.
If the Tonkinese people can get over it, so can you. Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it started.
It-
We had a very tough
In
time
other
getting
words, if
accepted.
we all came and said, we're really, really sorry that 10, 15 years ago or whenever that you guys wanted to come into this country, said no, because we want you now.
Now you need us.
I can tell
They may
you
need us
that
someday.
in talking, last year when we went to request out across the European Burmese, and I was left with the impression that all we had to do was request it, that there was no protocol where we had to also ballot the other breeds. That I was flatly refused by the European Burmese to ballot them, but they did come back and say that they would be open to a dialogue. They were just not open to taking a ballot at this time.
See, there's also the question of the red gene. Now, and that goes back many, many years. I was breeding Burmese, American Burmese, and we kept people out that had a tortie in the 6th generation, destroyed their pedigrees, and they were gone.
That's
So,
good.
Well, that was
You're
for
right.
ignorance that we don't.
So to take the European Burmese, you've got to accept the O gene.
She's
No,
gonna
it's-
test for it.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's a dominant trait, and if it's got red, it shows red.
Erica asked me to find or research European Burmese breeders in Europe that bred just the 4 colors. There was one person in Sweden, but she is either passed away or not breeding anymore. Couldn't get in contact. But everyone else has that O gene in Australia, of course.
Right.
No one in
But
Australia.
I promise you that if you take a lilac Euroberm, you can breed it to an American Burm and you will never see red.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly right.
right.
So that issue.
But see your instant fallback? Oh, no, we don't want orange. Why? Why? You
I
know?
want to take blue.
Why? Yeah, you didn't want to take blue. Why don't you want to take orange? Have some fun with orange. Yeah.
There's phenotypical differences between the European Burmese and the.
There's phenotypic differences, but once you have an orange, you have an orange, you know, so. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bring in those cinnamons. Woo! Sounds like think amber needs some help. How about some amber in there too, you know, so.
Well, then we're getting into how much do we really want to change the breed?
Right, yeah, so,
And will it still be the same breed when we changed it that much?
yeah.
So, but it, I mean, to make a start, our first step is to find all the Burmese breeders we can, and we need to reach across lines to the other associations. And if we can do that through Facebook, that would be really super.
We old people don't do things.
I don't do Facebook, but Renee does Facebook.
So, yeah, a little bit of everything, you know, and we need the census of who has what cats. And then we gotta prioritize who to test, right?
And I would say, before we get into any of the other breeds, let's start with American Burmese and see where we are. I mean, we need to know who, like that lady that I told you about that's in the North Georgia mountains that has
Applehead.
something she calls a Burmese.
Okay.
If you look at the pictures, but anyway, and, you know, so there are some people who are not connected in any way. We've got to find them too.
Yep.
And-
Didn't Jerry Bell do a breed survey a few years ago?
For Burmese?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't you guys talk with Jerry and stuff? Yeah.
Survey done by Jerry. Now,
Yeah.
Probably 4 or 5 years ago now,
Yeah.
but I wonder if that would be helpful.
We could-
Let's go back and build on that.
Well, a number of years ago, a group of, Leslie, were you there when we met with Jerry Bell in Sturbridge?
In Sturbridge.
Right, yeah,
Maybe you were there.
I was there.
yeah.
And I know he's done an incredible amount of work with the dog fancier. And there were discussions about how his research might be helpful in this particular situation. Or this was before we were getting closer, and I think people sort of didn't really want to talk about it or move forward on it because they were kind of waiting until it happened. I came from a different place. I always believed in you, Leslie, and your team, and I knew one day it would be found, and I thought that it would be really good to be proactive rather than reactive. So I'm hearing what you're saying. I think we need a paradigm shift. I think we need to work on the people as well as the kitties. I think that a lot of it comes from us, which we can work on, and you are providing us with a mechanism to work with the cats.
Right.
But I think that someone like Jerry Bell might be very helpful to us because he has done genetic counseling.
Yep.
He has worked to affect change in the dog fancy. So he might be a great.
Jerry is a good friend of mine, so I've vet things through Jerry all the time and stuff, so I think you can pretty much count Jerry in the game. Yep. Yep.
I'm a person I'm a CCA member. I'm not eligible to be a breed section member here because I'm a judge in another association. But I register CFA, but I'm not able to vote. I'm not a part of this. I think there needs to be, like when I started 38 years ago, a united Burmese group around the world that ties everyone together. And just to correct something, CCA did allow foreign Burmese as a separate breed quite a few years ago, maybe 15 years ago. We allow the North American Burmese to go into the foreigners. We call them foreigners, we call them Europeans. We allow them to go in, we just don't allow them to come back. However, it was mostly on the misconception of the O gene. Anybody who knows genetics knows they're not coming back if you don't want them to come back.
Right. Right. Well, so I think,
I do believe we need
yeah,
united Burmese.
education is a big part of this, and educating the judges. You know, we got to think about that facial type and stuff. So, you know.
Do the Bombays get the head defect?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Now, since we've had this mutation, I've talked to different groups. I do have people in Europe that have come forward and said, yeah, I got some contemporaries in my lines. And I originally, 20 years ago, that really is what convinced me, because I could see easily the same American cat on both sides of the pedigree and stuff. So Tonkinese people have come forward, and so have American Shorthairs, and said, hey, I want to do testing. Why do you want to do testing? So, yeah. Who wants to know? So.
Somebody's gotta do something.
Okay, I'll do something.
All right, we need
I
one,
got 3
two, or
litters
three people.
of Burmese
to start.
Tonkinese cross coming up. Does anybody want one? 3
Well, no,
litters.
that's not what I'm talking about. We need that too.
Donna's way ahead of the game, man.
Down the road. Temporary traditional crosses, and I'll share those. But
Well,
what
that's
I'm
the first
saying
step
is-
towards getting to work with us.
No, the first step is to find the Burmese breeders,
We have a mechanism, we have the United Burmese,
UBCF.
we have UBCF, which
And that
wrote the
crosses all
originals.
the,
We have,
all the-
Attorney Gleason brought it
Yes.
up this morning when I,
Okay,
I said,
all
how
right,
can we
then-
politically do something
is there
together?
somebody, whoever's the head of
That's
UBCF?
Willa Hawk, I'm secretary, Art's treasurer. It's cross-part, we have people from Russia, from Australia, from
Okay,
Germany,
so-
from France, all different associations, European Burmese,
But Willa's not
American
here either.
Burmese.
Okay, all right, that's a start. We